ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Northwest Georgia High School Football Scoreboard, the Al Smith Alfa Insurance High School Football Scoreboard. I'm here by myself right now. My name is Benton Burge, and we'll see who all jumps in with us. Hopefully, we'll have some people on the comments to give us something to talk about. Got scores rolling in, just about got everything ready to read off. So, without further ado, I'll jump right into the scoreboard. In the first game of the night, Lithia Springs is defeated by Carrollton 63 to nothing. This game was pretty much over at halftime. Carrollton's playing their, warming their depth up, second and third teamers. Next up, North Paulding gets the 39 to 14 win over South Paulding. East Paulding beats Hiram 38 to 27. Toombs County holds on and beats Rome 33 to 29. That sends Rome to 0 and 2 on the season against a real good Toombs County. Central Carroll beats Villarica 43-21. Cartersville beats Calhoun in the Battle of the Blue Bloods 35 to 13. North Cobb beats Cass 43 to 14. Cedartown beats Pepperell 44 to nothing. Rayburn County holds on to beat Dalton 35-13. Murchie stays undefeated with a 46 to 13 win over Southeast Whitfield. Adairsville back in the win column with a 44 to 14 win over Woodland. Dawson holds on to beat Banks County 14 to 7. Speaking of holds on, Lumpkin County holds on to beat Dunwoody 49-35. White County defeats East Jackson 55-27. Big one here, Gordon Lee, quote unquote, I guess an upset, upsets Heritage 38-28. Coosa gets another win and beats Ridgeland 28 to 6. North Murray outlasts LFO for a 21 to 7 win. Union County beats Murray County 49 to 6. North Cobb Christian escapes the Furnace with a 24-17 win over Sonorville. In overtime game, what sound like a barn burner, Rockmart beats Ringo 23 to 20. Bremen gets a 31 to 14 win over McNair. Yesterday's action, Temple beat South Atlanta 34-21. Back to tonight, Putnam County with a 28 to 3 win over Harrelson County. Tryon comes back, scores 22 unanswered to beat Model 22 to 12. Chattooga holds on to a 45 to 20 win that keeps Chattooga undefeated. They went to 3-0 over Mount Zion, 45-20. Bowden last night beat Westside Macon 56 to 27. Whew, that's a mouthful. Let's see here. Got some scores coming in. Some extra ones. East Forsyth beats Chesadee 34 to 7. Jake Keller says that Juju had 5 passing touchdowns in the first quarter and did not play after the first quarter. Big game against Gainesville next week. That's true. Central was in a tight one, he says, but pulled away. And I also picked Cass and Heritage, and I missed both of those games as well there, boss. Mr. Brian Barkham says, go Armurchie. Armurchie with another win. I did not see John Mincy. I did not see Lafette on the schedule. I'll double check to make sure, but I don't think they played tonight. RJ.
What's up?
Pickens was off tonight, correct?
Yes, sir. Got the White County at home next week to start reaching play.
Cool. Were you able to watch any games? Did you go to any games? Or you watch any games on television, internet?
I watched the first half of the White County East Jackson game just to get a sense of where White County was coming in the next week. And, that East Jackson team, they beat Dawson last week. So I was interested to see how they would do. And it was kind of a little bit back and forth to start the ball game. And then White County just took over. They quarterback Chip Nix, seems like he's been there for 8 years, but he's the senior. He had like five. I think he had five total touchdowns in the first half, and White County had like a 42-14 lead at halftime. They just cruised the rest of the way. They ended up winning 55-27. So good win for them to end their non-region schedule. They had a tough first two games there with Habersham Central and forget who else they played that first week. But they're going to be tough. Tough first region game next week for the Dragons. They'll come in. The Dragons will come in 2-1, and White County's finally on the board. They're probably the toughest one. Probably the toughest one-win team.
Yeah.
In this area, so it'll be a tough opening region matchup for the Dragons, but they've had 2 weeks to get ready after the tough loss to Gilmer, and so I think they'll come ready to play.
Sweet. Answering John Mincy, Lafette did not play tonight. They'll play host to the Trine Bulldogs next week, the 4-0 Trine Bulldogs, which speaking of the Bulldogs, midway through the game that I was at, I got a text message saying that the Bulldogs were down, and the next thing I know, I believe it was 12-0. Model was up on Trine 12-0, and then just like last week, it seemed like Trine got the go-go juice out in the second half and scored 22 unanswered to win 22-12. Kind of a tale of two halves. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe we can get somebody on here to explain what the difference was in the halves. But a big win, and I was kind of shocked by Model's ability to hang in there. So,
yeah, I think from the messages that we got on the game, it was Model was taking advantage of some early turnover issues for Tryon, and I think Model got that, and then I guess Tryon had a heck of a halftime speech.
yeah.
And so they responded pretty well, and that's what good teams do. You're not always going to have your A game.
Yep.
That's
why it's a 4-quarter game.
And they responded well in the second half, and they look to keep rolling next week against Lafayette.
Yeah, the game that I was at the Chattooga was hosting Mount Zion, a Mount Zion team that we knew that Chattooga knew coming in was fairly athletic, and it showed on the field. They have a few quote unquote jitterbugs in the backfield. Quarterback is hard to bring down. A good arm. Chattooga's scoreless streak come to an end. Mount Zion was able to put 20 points up. Really, only 6 points against the varsity. For the first time in a long time, back-to-back games, you see the Indians able to put the JV or the backup crew into the game fairly early. I think it was about the 6-minute mark in the third quarter. The game was all but decided. Back-to-back games where Chattooga running back has broke the Chattooga individual rushing record. Zayden Cook beats his own record this time and goes for 338 yards. I don't know how many carries he had, but it didn't seem like that many to have 338. So another big game for him.
He sounds like he's a front runner for the Northwest Georgia Player of the Year.
I think he's been on some of the posts that Lawrence has put out. If he keeps it up, I think so. I think he may be one of the leading rushers in the state. and Stuga's already had their bye week, so pretty interesting to see how it's going to go forward. I know next week Stuga opens region play at Gordon Central, which is a team that has a few wins this year, and early on we would say surprise, but not as much anymore. New head coach, winning a few games, got some talent over there. I think that's going to be a very interesting game next week. We'll talk about that a little bit later, though. So I'm gonna read back through these scores, RJ, and tell me if anything jumps out to you, and we'll see if we get anybody on here to chat back and forth with us. We'll start at the top. Carrollton beats Lithia Springs 63-0. North Paulding beats South Paulding 39-14. East Paulding beats Hiram 38-27. Toombs holds on to beat Rome 33-29. Central Carroll 43, Villarica 21. Cartersville 35, Calhoun 13. I heard that the last touchdown for Cartersville was kind of in garbage time. So
Yeah, it
uh,
was. I was watching towards the end of that one. Calhoun
yeah,
just couldn't get too much going offensively.
that
Cartersville kind of
Cartersville defense
suffocated
has
them.
been tough all year long.
Yeah,
Yeah, that bodes well going forward for Cartersville. North Cobb, impressive over Cass, a team that's been putting up the
yeah.
points, 43 to
That's
14 over Cass.
that's really surprising considering how Cass has played early in this season. North Cobb to go to Cass and do that to them.
Yeah,
Phew.
yeah. I didn't. I knew North Cobb was a good squad, but I didn't see that one coming. Cedartown, again, who's making this Pepperell schedule? Cedartown beating
Phew.
Pepperell 44-0. Battle tested, that's for sure. Raven County holds on to beat Dalton 35-13. Armurchie gets a 46-13 win over Southeast Whitfield. Adairsville 44, Woodland 14. Dawson beats Banks County 14-7. Those are two teams over toward your way.
Yeah,
Interesting close game there.
Dawson's Dawson getting their first win of the year, so they got a little bit of momentum heading into region play.
Lumpkin County 49, Dunwoody 35. If I'm not mistaken, I saw early where this game was kind of widespread apart. It seems like Dunwoody come back, scored some points there.
Yeah, Lumpkin kind of got ahead of them a little bit, and then Dunwoody, I guess, made it close there towards the end. But Lumpkin has at home next week GAC, and that's to start region play. And I know GAC's probably played like a tough non-region schedule, but from the way the scores have looked for their games, I would not be surprised if Lumpkin wins that one by multiple scores.
We'll take the time here in a little bit and kind of look to the future and see who everybody plays next week. Some of the big time games in region, and some are still out of region. So, White County beats East Jackson 55-27.
Yeah,
Big
that
one
one.
here. Big one
Yeah,
here. Sorry, the towels are not wanting to act right. Heritage is defeated by Gordon Lee 38-28.
ooh,
I am surprised by that, but I'm not surprised at the same token at Gordon Lee. Um, I don't know if Stucker was back for this game, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was. Big win for Gordon Lee. Coosa 28-6 over Ridgeland. North Murray holds on 21-7 over Lakeview, Fort Overthorpe. Union County beats Murray County 49-6. North Cobb Christian 24, Sonoraville 17. In an overtime game, Rockmart beats Ringo 23-20. Bremen 31, McNair 14. Temple last night beat South Atlanta 34-21. Putnam County beats Haralson County 28-3. Trine beats Model 22-12. Chattooga defeats Mount Zion 45-20. And last night's action, Bowden 56, Westside Macon 27. So any of that besides I know I heard you say ooh on that Heritage Gordon Lee game. That
Yeah,
surprised you there?
yeah, a little bit because Heritage had been playing pretty well coming into that game, and it looked like Gordon Lee had been struggling a little bit. But they were playing at home and they got some momentum and they picked up a big win.
Here's an update from Michael and Susan Rogers. Says Raven had her quarterback back after being out against Fannin a couple weeks ago. Dalton has a lot of potential. Uh, you know, once they get it all together. There's one guy that I noticed from Dalton's highlights the other day. Man, I wish I could remember his name. I'm gonna have to look it up, but he was all over the field. I'm not sure if he was a young guy or a veteran guy, but uh, pretty dynamic player for Dalton. And
Yeah, I've watched some of their games from last season because they stream their games. So I've watched them from time to time, and they've got some kids. They've always had some kids in that area to work with, and just now they're going through kind of like an up and down transition. It seems like, and they'll probably be back up before they know
a couple things we'll run through here. John Mincy says Zayden is a hoss. That's correct.
it.
He's definitely a hoss. He's running well this year. Uh, Eric says, "Told you to watch out for those fighting Indians." He also says that Chattooga is the state's second most improved team. Okay, if they're the second most improved team, you got to give us the first most improved. I want to hear that. I want to hear who the most improved is. Scott Buffington said he's asking if we have an update on the Bremen QB that was injured last week. Seemed like I did see something on that. Let me see if I
I
can pull that back
saw
up so I can give you some information.
I saw that I
Go
think
ahead.
he won. They voted him homecoming king or something tonight.
Okay.
They showed a picture with him with a crown and a sash from his hospital bed. So he got voted that, and hopefully he continues to improve. And that team is going to rally around that, and they were going to try and finish out the season strong for him.
Yeah, absolutely. They got the win tonight. Obviously not having him there, I'm sure was emotional, but able to corral that and get the job done against McNair. Um, I thought I seen an update. Besides what you just told us, obviously. I thought I had seen an update, but I don't see. Yeah, Carson, he was voted a homecoming king. They have some photos here. I don't really see anything as far as an update on his condition, but hopefully we'll get that and we'll try to give you an update by next week for sure. Alrighty. Here's a. I'm not you know not sure, but here's a. Since Bremen's quarterback has movement in his ankles, moving him to a treatment, so they think he'll be walking soon. That'd be great.
That would be
I'm
good
not.
news.
That would be awesome. Yeah. And this one says he was able to sit up for the first time today. So all good news. Good news that he's able to do those things.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna pull up next week. So who'd you say that Pickens has next week?
They are hosting White County next week.
White County. Let's see here. Sorry, I don't have everything laid out. I got to do a bunch of clicking. All righty. Some of the local teams next week will start in the smaller classifications. Opening region play. A couple teams. Dade County will be at Christian Heritage. The open region play. That should be an interesting game. Christian Heritage likes to throw it around. Dade likes to run it. Fannin County will be on the road at Coosa to open the region. Heard County will visit Bowden. Armurchie will be at Gordon Lee. Bremen will be at Rayburn County. And then Chattooga will travel to Gordon Central. Also, in our coverage area here, Whitfield Academy will travel to Darlington. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much everybody in those classifications. Actually, Tryon will travel to Lafayette. I think we spoke about that one earlier, but crosstown rival Lafayette. Mount Zion will be in non-region action against Benton Charter. And that's Class 1A and Class 2A next week. Some of the regions, I believe, will fire up. North Murray will be at Murray County next week. Union County will visit Rockmart. Other games. Ringo will be at North Cobb Christian. That should be a very interesting game right there. Ringo taking their 3-1 record into a undefeated North Cobb team. North Cobb Christian, that is. Sonoraville will be on the road at Cahola Creek. That should be a battle there. That'll be a very interesting one to see.
Yeah, Sonoraville's still trying to get their first win, I believe. So
yeah, and what's wild is they've been in the games. I mean, like tonight, 1-score game against a pretty good squad tonight. So.
All of their games have been close because we were there a couple of weeks ago and it came down to the wire, and so they've had some tough luck. Overtime loss to Model, and then all their losses have been close. So they're right there.
And it's proven so far that the teams that they've lost to are a very solid squad. They haven't lost to a bad team yet. So I think there's wins coming, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm as a Pickens fan, I'm hoping for wins for them.
Yeah.
That'll help the strength of schedule.
Yeah. So Pickens, let's see, they're still power rankings, correct?
Yes.
That's going to be wild as the season goes here. In the larger classifications, Calhoun is visiting Cambridge next week. You spoke about GAC on the road at Lumpkin County. Gilmer will visit Westminster. Going on down the line here. Southeast Whitfield will be at Northwest Whitfield. So battle of the Whitfield County teams. Like you spoke about earlier, White County will be on the road at Pickens. They should have all the Jeeps out there by that time, right?
Yeah, it was not fun trying to get out of the parking lot last week when you pair it up with Jeep Fest, and that has to take a lot of attention from the officers and the police and stuff there. Yeah. And then you pair it up with the Gilmer game, and it's just.
One would imagine that Jeep Fest would have been better on the bye week.
Yeah, I think if they had to redo it, they would have done it this week. But
let's see, continuing to look at next week's games, Dalton looking for their first win on the road at Cartersville. Oof,
Ow.
tough one there.
Yeah, when I was watching that Cartersville Calhoun game, they put up Cartersville's schedule, and the second to last game of the season for Cartersville is against Cedartown, and that's gonna be an electric ball game.
Let's see. Next one, Altoona on the road at Cedartown. Altoona's 1-2. It's the undefeated Cedartown team that's looks like to be in back in rare form like they were 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, they got that train rolling up there.
Another interesting game here. Hiram will be on the road at Cass next week. See if Cass can bounce back after a very interesting loss this week to a really good North Cobb squad. I mean, North Cobb coming in, definitely the bigger school there. Did not see that kind of victory, but hey, everybody, maybe it wasn't Cass's night. I mean, things happen. The bigger schools here, East Paulding will be at Rome. I think East Paulding's 2-0. Rome, 3-0, and Rome is 0-2.
Yeah, Rome's going to have to.
I give East Paulding a puncher's chance.
Can...
I like East Paulding's chances, even though it's at Barron.
Toombs County just proved you can go in there and get the win. So
yeah, Rome's schedule's been tough, and it's not going to get any easier. South Paulding is at Lithia Springs. South Paulding still looking for their first win. Villarica will visit Alexander next week. Villarica's 1-1 right now. Going on down, probably the biggest game as far as matchup goes. Gainesville will be on the road at Carrollton. That is a big one. If you watch and you want to see D1 talent, it's going to be there in Carrollton next Friday night. I'm sure this will be somebody's televised.
It'll be on TV somewhere
or somebody. It's going to be on TV. I promise. No way you could let a game that big, that good of a game.
I would think Rusty Manziel would try to get his hands on that one. Have them cover it.
All righty, let's see. There you go. There's your answer. To playing on a national stage. Yeah, I do not think you want to look ahead of Gainesville. I think Gainesville is.
Yeah, Gainesville's not a team you want to take lightly.
So I'm reading here from Patron that Cass did not get a first down until second quarter and had an 80-yard pick six in the fourth quarter. Man, that's not what none of us expected. I can tell you that. A lot of people missed that pick on the Pickup Show.
Yeah, that's not normally what you see out of a Cass team, especially the last couple of years. So
absolutely,
we'll see how they bounce back next week.
Yes, sir. Well, I tell you what, I don't see any more comments rolling in here. I'm going to go over the scores one more time, and then we'll go ahead and get it done for this week. Check us out again next week, though. We'll be back with the Pickup Show on Wednesday night and the Friday night Scoreboard Show sponsored by Al Smith Alfa Insurance. So we'll jump into the Al Smith Alfa Insurance High School Football Scoreboard one more time, and then we'll get out of here. Carrollton beats Lithia Springs 63-0. North Paulding beats South Paulding 39-14. East Paulding 38, Hiram 27. 30 Toombs County 33, Rome 29. Central Carroll 43, Villarica 21. Cartersville 35, Calhoun 13. The aforementioned North Cobb team 43, Cass 14. Cedartown 44, Pepperell 0. Rayburn County defeats Dalton 35-13. Armurchie stays undefeated with a 46-13 win at Southeast Woodfield. Adairsville beats Woodland 44-14. Dawson beats Banks County 14-7. Lumpkin beats Dunwoody 49-35. White County defeats East Jackson 55-27. Gordon Lee defeats Heritage 38-28. Coosa defeats Ridgeland 28-6. North Murray defeats Lakeview Fort Overthorpe 21-7. Union County defeats Murray County 49-6. North Cobb Christian 24, Sonoraville 17. In an overtime game, Rockmart beats Ringo 23-20. Bremen 31, McNair 14. Last night, Temple defeated South Atlanta 34-21. Tonight, Putnam County 28, Harrison County 3. Trine has a strong second half and defeats Model 22-12. Chattooga goes to 3-0 and defeats Mount Zion 45-20. And then last night, Bowden defeated Westside Macon 56-27. Like I said, join us Wednesday night. We'll go through all of the games. We'll have a bunch of region games kicking in. I'm sure within the next few weeks, we'll start talking about these power rankings and where everybody's going to stand and how crazy they'll be from week to week.
It'll be an experience for sure.
Yeah, it'll be something to talk about. That's all I can say. But anyway, I appreciate you joining us tonight, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.